Okay. Hello, everyone. We are live. And
Hi.
like I normally do, what do? I check YouTube. So, yes, we are
We
live on YouTube.
we're good. We're good on
Yeah, we're
Twitch.
good. We're good on Twitch. We're good everywhere. Welcome everyone to stream number 8.
Yes.
That's two months of streams, of GROQ streams. We kind of have a fun little treat for you all today. Usually we do just GROQ stuff. Well, it's still all GROQ stuff, but we're adding in a little something fun for the last half of today's stream. So we will show you all. But we do have our icebreaker question. So, and of course, anyone in the chat, if you want to answer this question along with us, feel free to. But our icebreaker question of the day is, are you a morning person or a night person? Lauren, I'll let you go first.
I am definitely a night person. In fact, I'm pretty nocturnal.
Okay.
And it's taken a lot to kind of train myself not to be that way because you have to do stuff during the day, work and all of that. But I think like my ideal situation would be if I could sleep all day and then be up between like the hours of like 2100 hours or like 9 p.m. to like 0300 or 3 o'clock in the morning and then go back to sleep. Like that's my ideal thing. But all my creative energy happens like super late at night. So it's been like super intense to like have to train myself to not go that way. What about you?
So I used to be a night person and I would wake up naturally like 8 o'clock, but now I am definitely a morning person. And that's just recent. It's probably within the last couple months. But I wake up at 6 and I'm like, let's go. And I'm like ready for the day. And then the last part of my day, I'm like, I could go to sleep right now. Let's go to sleep at like 6 p.m. But yeah, I think I'm a morning person. And I'm really productive in the morning. Like that's, if your creative energy is at night, mine is in the morning.
In the morning time?
I get so much stuff done. And then when like the afternoon hits, I'm like, I mean, I can just do like busy work type stuff. But yeah, creative is in the morning.
Yeah, I definitely think like in the morning time is better for me. Like as far if I'm learning something new, like, and not first thing in the morning either. Like there's like a sweet spot where like there's like a 2 to 3 hour window, like kind of late morning, where if I'm learning something new, like I can really get focused. But just straight like creative output, definitely at night.
Yeah. Mr. Jedediah in the chat, I love mornings and nights. Afternoons are not productive at all. That's so true. Afternoons, it's like we should rather than doing 8 hours straight, it should be 4 break and then 4. Yeah. Split it like that because afternoons are just so low. But yeah. Okay. So we have a couple of GROQ functions to go over, and then we have the little treat at the end. And we're very excited. So let's go to our studio that we've been using. And again, you can follow along because I'm pretty sure you can view this. You just can't edit it. Please, someone confirm it in the chat. See if you can edit something. Yeah, we have a tree at the end. But yeah, tell me if you can edit it. Well, I guess I could see it, but tell me if you can at least like query. So go into the Vision plugin, and if you can follow along with us, tell me if that works for you with that link that I posted in the chat. I hope it does.
Hopefully, yeah. I think everyone should be able to at least use the Vision plugin in the studio.
Yeah. Yeah, because then you can follow along, and that's always fun. Okay, so we last week worked on functions in GROQ. We did, let me go back. Oh, and by the way, after every stream, a blog post is, oh, Mr. Jedediah, oh, you do need a login. Never mind. Sorry, everyone. Okay, so to get this data set, run Sanity in it. So have the Sanity CLI in your, get that installed, and then run the command Sanity init, and you will have a bunch of questions that it asks, and choose the data set when it says, like, do you want like movie or empty one? Choose the one that's e-commerce, and then you will be able to have exactly what we have. So we really haven't changed anything. It's all what comes in that like pre-built data. So yeah.
Yeah, I think it even asks if you want to have sample data. So as long as you say yes, you'll get exactly what we currently have.
Yeah, so it's all the same. You'll have hockey pulver, and we love hockey pulvers.
Yes.
You'll have all this good candy that I have tried none of. Yeah, I haven't had any. No, I have had the Kit Kat wasabi.
Yes,
I have.
that's the only one. And the green tea Kit Kats.
Is it on this list,
Yeah.
or you're just saying another one? This?
No, it's on there. I think it's like the petite matcha. That's the green tea and like
This one. Okay.
double berry or something.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, so we have all those to choose from. Anyway, so if you want, get that set up. So sorry I keep sending that link every stream. Oh yeah, so I sent that link to the blog that we write after the end of every stream, just to kind of like go over what we talked about. So last week we talked about functions, and we are just kind of adding to that. We're going to talk about 2 functions that we thought were very interesting, and we have a couple of use cases for it, but we also wanted to see what you all would use this for as well. So I'm going to go to Vision and start our query off with the asterisk to get all of our content, so our entire content lake, and then type, we're going to do product. And remember, it's case sensitive, so make sure it matches what your product is. And then we're going to do, we'll call it uppercase. And I'm not going to add in the function that I want to do yet, but I'm going to show you, because we did this last time, the finding the text out of the body. So we did that in right here. So the text function. So if we ran this, it would find all of the, let me actually just run this for you all. It finds all of the, what am I missing? Oh, because the quotations are off.
Yeah.
Okay. So it finds all of the text from the body. Now I'm going to change this to uppercase. So I'm just changing the naming of it, and I'm going to wrap this in upper. So if I run that query, hi Joel, nice seeing you as well. It changes all of our text to uppercase. So everything is uppercase. And this can happen for any string. So we were actually playing around with it. And any string you can find in here, you pretty much can do this too. So we'll do another uppercase. Or which one do you want to do? We'll do click up current.
Okay. Yeah. I was going to say that, or like maybe a type.
And I missed the comma. And there it is. So because I'm doing the 3 dots, the ellipses, it is pulling back everything. But if we wanted just those 2, there's that. Okay, give me another one to uppercase. Can you see that? There.
Yeah, I think the zoom is a little bit better.
Another one.
Another one. Maybe something from, what about if we did something from like the default product variant?
Do you want to just do type? See if we
Yeah.
can capitalize that. Okay. Default, remember, product variant dot type. So then we should still see this, but we should see a named one called another one with it capitalized. And I always forget that comma. Gosh. Yeah, and there we go. So all capitalized. Now, another alternative to this is lower. So let's actually get rid of this because we just want to see what we're working with. Lower. And I'm not going to change the naming on this. We'll just keep it. So lower is the opposite. Now everything's lowercase. What would be a use case for this, Lauren? What would you use this upper and lower for if you were working in real life with all your content?
I would say maybe if you were going to do something, let's say like the categories or maybe like the product names, maybe you're going to do something with print media or something, and for whatever reason, like all your data needs to be uppercase or some way that you were going to have it ready for display that required an uppercase.
Yeah. Like say you have like a magazine, and you have like it's still digital, like it's still a digital magazine. Maybe you're not printing it, but you want to make sure every time it goes to production, the subtitle is always like all capitalized.
Right.
Something like that.
Or like, yeah. Or even if it's just a product, you're going to denote each new magazine page as, a product page. So maybe each time that product is always going to be capitalized or something.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Chat, do you have any ideas? What would you use? It's kind of like the to uppercase in JavaScript where you tackle a string and it uppercases or lowercase, whichever one you use. But the use cases for this are kind of unique. And so it's kind of interesting to see what people would use this for. Because you don't really see this kind of stuff being used a lot, but I'm sure when it's being used.
I was just going to say maybe like from a data cleaning perspective, like data entry or something, like if you had a bunch of like form submissions and you wanted to look and make sure, like verify names, like usually having names capitalized or some kind of unique descriptor like that to like look at all in a list so you could verify like spelling or something like that. I could see you using it for that as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. In the chat, this is probably not in the scope of the stream, but I've been wondering how you can use a field from one schema type as a variable to query another schema type. If we have time, let's look at that because we're going to do our treat. But yeah, if we don't get to it, we'll definitely do it next stream. So I will actually copy that question. I will keep that question. Oh, well, here it is. But yeah, I forget that I can show comments. I just clicked into it and then it showed. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. But yeah, we'll definitely try and answer this. Another one, I guess, enforcing consistency if you're not sure what you're getting. That's good.
Yeah.
Maybe you're like, maybe you do want everything capitalized, but if you're like, I just want to make sure everything really is, and J somehow gets through that's not capitalized, then you can just like enforce that. Another one, I would use it for string matching, but that depends if default match is case sensitive.
Yes, exactly.
Very good. Yeah. Cool. So those are the functions we are going over, the upper and the lower. Feel free to now add that to your queries. But we are going to do now and this is our treat, we're now going to do a community spotlight. So let me show you what that looks like. So if you go to sanity.io/exchange, I'll put the link in chat. So Sanity Exchange, this is where you can like share content. There's guides, tools and plugins, starters, projects, and then everyone in the exchange, you can find profiles here. You can find if they're available for work. Let's look. So here's Twitter and their GitHub. Okay, here's available for work. They have all their icons, like their social icons, and then the contributions that they have made also go on their profile. So pretty awesome. But we're going to look at the schemas and snippets. So here you can add snippets or schemas, and we found a GROQ query in here that we're going to talk about. So let me pull it up. So it's by Mohammed, and it's dealing with category and the defined function. So we actually went over, let me actually put this link also in the chat. So we talked about defined last week, right?
Yes, we did.
From last week. So here's defined. So what defined, I guess, Lauren, do you want to explain defined? Or do you want me to?
Sure. So defined is a function where it will use, you can use it to search and validate true or false given a specific string. So in the case of what we're looking at right now, we're using the defined function to say, please give us all things related to if the price is completed. So any product that actually has a price, look in that pool of data. So you can, it's just another way to sort of filter down your content.
Yeah. And defined, what we did last week was in this filter, but you'll see here, it's still used in the query. We'll show you with nested, but it's still up in this filter, not here. So remember, you can like use this anywhere. It's really just saying if it has it, show it. So yes. Yeah. So in this one, it has defined category. So it wants to make sure it has a defined category and a type of product, and then a reference to the ID of the parent, and then pull out all this, and it has to have a defined ID. So this actually works for the data set that we have been working with. It has category, and that's what we have, and it has product, and that's what we have. So it looks like Mohammed actually was using some sort of e-commerce, maybe this one, and it has the same names, but yeah, let's go use it on ours and see how it works. So type category, and remember we have these categories right here. Oh, whoops. So let's run that query, and let's see what we get back. So it wanted title, cool, and it wanted ID, which if it has a defined ID, it is going to get it, and a type product and a reference to that parent ID. So
yeah, which I think the parent ID or the caret operator to reference like the parent is really, really cool. Like it took me a minute to understand that, but once I did, I was like, oh, this is super powerful, right? Because you're saying I want, and to make sure it references the ID from the first document type that I called, right? Without actually having to explicitly say that again.
Yeah, it kind of takes care of a lot of other text you'd have to write to get that. But yeah, that is our community spotlight. And we have one more, but it is hi, Ulysses. Yes, you're late, but that's okay. We've talked about upper and lower functions in GROQ, and now we are talking about community written GROQ queries that you can find in sanity.io/schemas. And here you find different snippets, but also you can find GROQ queries. We actually wrote 2 for, I think it was like the first 2 streams that we did. We created some.
It was.
But yeah. Now there's one more we're going to look at. So great job, Mohammed. Thank you for posting that. This was very helpful. And it's also really nice. So Mohammed actually wrote the explanation of the query, which I want to point out, number 2. So retrieve the category title, so that's here, and perform a nested query. So we haven't done nested queries yet, but that is this. So it's taking the asterisk that we usually start with and doing just a nested one of that. So that was pretty cool to be able to use that. But yeah, so the other one we want to do is right here by Canute. Canute, if you're still in the chat, thanks for this query. So this is a really cool query. Hi, Canute. Yeah, we really like this one. We actually had to mess around with it a little bit because it didn't work for us the first time. So maybe you can tell us what happened and maybe what we're doing is wrong, but we'll show you.
Canute said, what?
Canute in the chat. What is it? Okay, so if we come here, I'm just going to bring this up just so we can kind of look at it how we've been looking at it. So we're going to get number of characters, and I have to change these to body.en because that's how ours can reference. But this will get the number of characters in the that body.text. And we looked at that earlier when we did the uppercase. We had that's what we were looking at. And then estimated word count, we take that number and we divide it by 5 because usually word count is based off of 5 characters. So we divide it by 5. And then the last one, and this one's really interesting, is estimated reading time. So words per minute generally is at 180. And so then you take this and divide the whole thing by 180. And then you get how many minutes it would take you to read that. I'm going to get rid of these just so I can kind of like bring everything more concise.
And this
so I'm going to run this.
I was just going to say, this is such a fantastic use case because this is obviously something that you would like want to render on in the studio so that people who were entering in content could see what their character count or their word count is and be able to have a gauge as they're writing.
Yeah. The estimated read time is so great because sometimes in blogs you want to put that if you're like, oh, this is only a 2-minute read, like, but there's a lot of great content. It's really great to have. So I'm going to run this query and I need to change this to product. Cool. So we have, so remember our text is not that long in these, in the body.text. It's not very long. So our word counts aren't very big because it's like descriptions for this candy. But we have the title, we have the number of characters. So we have 776. So that's the top one. Estimated word count divided by 5, so 155. So if you're trying to hit a certain word count, like we want to hit 500 for this description, or we want to hit 2,000 for this blog post or whatever, that's great to have. Estimated reading time, though, kept coming up null for us. And we couldn't figure it out. We tried everything. What we did is we deleted this, right, Lauren?
Yep.
Was that it? No, what was it? Oh, no, I don't remember. Was it that?
No.
Here, I have it right here.
I want to say it was misplaced parentheses or, yeah, because we needed a double parentheses after.
Oh, yeah, we moved that parenthesis over to this. So, yeah, but then we got it figured out and very happy about it. But so here is how you can find out how many minutes it takes to read. And because these are very small descriptions, it's I mean, most of them are going to be 0 because 180, you can read it pretty quick. Thanks, Canute. And then estimated minutes to read, this one's 1. So we're actually going to go to Happy Kitchen Hamburger and go to desk, product. And we're going to make this longer so we can see a change in that. So copy, and I'm just going to paste a bunch of times. Okay, publish. I'll go back to Vision, and I think it's still saved. Yeah. Run that query, and now that should say 8. So now, because we just added more characters, but number of characters 7,000. Word count is about 1,400. That's a good blog post. And then it'll take the Happy Kitchen Hamburger has its own blog post, but none of the others do. But yeah, it would take you 8 minutes to read this product's description.
Yeah, and so I think Canute said this could be put into a custom input, which could be really cool because then you could have maybe some kind of validation, right? Like maybe it could only be a certain amount of characters, and maybe it would give, the count as someone was writing, or say, oh, you're over.
Mm-hmm. Well,
it's like only that be this many words or this many characters.
It's like that custom input that I think Alexandra made in the community, where it was you tweet from the studio and then you can send it to Twitter, and then you can but you can draft your tweet in your studio. That would be a good use case here because you don't want to be over the character count.
Exactly. Yes, I think it was Alexandra, right? Yeah, from the custom input challenge.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Is there a performance impact of using the same PT text body to Amy 3 times? It's not being cached, is it? Oh, Canute, there shouldn't be. It hits index of text, so it's optimized. Cool. I hope that answered your question. Sorry, I'm just like, there's the question. And then Canute, there shouldn't be. It hits index text, so it's optimized. Thank you. Another suggestion, you could query by reading time and then make a list of quick reads. Mr. Jedediah, that's a great, that's also a great use case, because then you could have maybe you have a blog and you're like, I want to get all my blog posts that are under 5 minutes so I can have a little section of quick reads or quick tips,
Yeah, but, like the 5-minute break or what? Read this if you're on a 5-minute break or something.
Yeah. Cool. Right on. Well, we're coming up on time. So thank you so much for hanging out. We had upper and lower, and then community spotlight, and then really awesome from Mohammed. So thank you for posting that. And if any of you have some really awesome queries, definitely post them in the sanity.io/schemas, and maybe you'll see your schema or your GROQ query on the stream. But yeah, thanks so much, everyone, for hanging out, and we will see you next time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.